Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today we've got something special planned. We're going back to the industrial factory, but I just wanted to come back to our forest and our birds just to give you a little update on what's gone in the meantime. So that's not the right button as always. What I've done, I've expanded the river a little bit, widened it out. Not happy with the shape, but that's fine. That'll all come when I smooth things out a little bit later. And I have mined a load of trees up over in this direction here, so this bit here is now all cleared out, and the plan is to mimic an oxbow lake starting to form. So we're going to have the river rushing in to here, start carving out some of this, but the river of course is going to go out around this bit here and back into that. So it's kind of like we can kind of see where an oxbow lake will eventually form, so we're telling that geological story of where the river will eventually in millions of years come through here. Okay, but that of course is going to be some environmental storytelling for a future episode. So without further ado, let's get back over to the industrial area and go through what's happening next. It feels good to be back doing some technical stuff after our little terraforming and landscaping break. So what do we have in store? So if you had watched the video I posted midweek, you will have seen the tutorial for sending signals to and from the Nether, which is something we're going to use today. So what we are aiming to do is build a gold farm and a bartering setup, and then we're going to toggle when we need each of those active based off of when things are full here. So if we have a look at what supplies need gold, we of course need our powered rails and our gold pressure plates, and then nothing else needs gold. So once we've got a full stockpile of these two resources, of our gold pressure plates and our powered rails, then what we want is we want the bartering system to turn on so that we get the other things we need, such as our soul sand, our crying obsidian, our quartz. I think that's the three main. Leather as well. We're going to get leather, and string, I believe, will be another side product of it as well. So we're going to get all of those things just from these two little things, which are bartering and our gold farm, and then that will then bring the amount of resources that we're gathering up, which will then allow us to craft even more things. So we can get our observers going, comparators. The plan for that is to head up onto the roof of the Nether, build ourselves a very nice gold farm, and then we'll then get all of the resources from that, start sending the gold through the portal, and then we're going to hook up our redstone lines, go through the Nether, and then we'll be able to toggle on or off the bartering setup. So for our gold farm to work as best as it can, we need to get up onto the Nether roof. So if you haven't seen this trick before, you need to come right the way up as high as you can and find a piece of bedrock that is sitting up at Y127. Now if we have a look in the top left hand corner of our screen, you can see that I'm currently looking at block 10, 127 and 5. Now it's important to note this down for later so that you know which piece of bedrock to break to get easy access through if you're not going to use a nether portal. So I've written down 10, 5 to remind me of where to go. What you're going to need is you're going to need some ladders going all the way up to the top, and then this is a little glitch for the ender pearl, so you're going to throw the ender pearl in between the top of the ladder and the bedrock, and then that gets you through the top. So we are now stood on the Nether roof. Now shall we now get into our bedrock breaking? I have done some of this before when getting that shulker through our end gateway to get it back into the overworld. So we've got obsidian, pistons, levers and TNT. So where we're going to find that 10-5 block is here. So what we're going to do is we're going to place 2 obsidian here, and TNT here, and here is it? Let me have a look. I need to try and remember. Yeah, here and here. We're going to put our lever over here, and we are going to put our trapdoor here. So the aim of this is that we are going to press this lever, turn it on, which activates the TNT. Then we're going to get underneath this trapdoor here so that we can place an upside down piston, which then something happens where the TNT breaks both the piston, the lever, all of that, and then it glitches. The piston kind of breaks the bedrock below. So for this, we need to actually change our keybinds. So if we come into our keybinds, we're going to change our where is it? Place block from our right mouse button. We're going to change it to any key. So let's try and figure out one that's not being used. G, I think that's one that's all right. Yeah, that's all right. Wait, yeah. Yeah, we're all good there. So then we are going to then do this break-in. See, I always forget about this. So we're going to now do this. We're going to come as far over as we can. And I was too slow, I didn't press it in time. So what we just need to do there is just rebuild things again. And we should have placed it facing up. It should now have broken. There we go. Excellent. So there is our bedrock broken. Lovely stuff. So now we are here on the nether roof and we are free to use it to our advantage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down below. I'm going to break the portal down there and I'm just going to build a portal up here so that every time we come through to the nether, we're going to come through up here. Of course, we need to change our portals around a little bit later on based on what we need for our redstone stuff. So I've placed the schematic of the gold farm we're going to be building into the world and the overworld just to get the material list ready so I can see what we need and gather up all the resources. The design is a NEMBOM design and it is both AFKable up in the sky and also has a manual mode as well. So 2 different AFK platforms and then all of the items end up down here in this one spot. Now I haven't got any sort of item collection in here because we're going to design that ourselves because we need it so the gold just goes straight through the portal and then if we toggle it off then the gold will just fall straight through and then it will get sent into the bartering setup. So at some point we're going to need to do a lot of auto crafting. I'm not sure where that comes into the setup, potentially. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I actually genuinely hadn't thought about that. So what we need is we need some auto crafters for our gold and then we need to be able to send it through to the overworld. So that's going to be something that I didn't think of. Then any rotten flesh and armor and stuff just gets burnt. We're not dealing with any of that. Don't even want to store it. We'll get so much of it. So we're going to have it drop down, shoot across into a few auto crafters, and those are going to come down further, spit out the gold, and then if the gold is needed in our crafting system, it's going to go straight through the nether portal I've set up over there. And if gold isn't needed as a raw resource, then it's going to come down into the bartering setup, and then those things are going to get shot through the nether portal. And I've gathered up most of the resources we need for it. I'm missing 2 major things. The first one being magma blocks. And we've now collected all of those magma blocks there, decent size grind. And the other thing we need is the turtle eggs. And there's our turtle eggs. A surprising pain to go and get that. It took 20 minutes. Like, we need a proper breeding setup in the future if we want to use those turtle eggs. So let's take these into the nether. So it is in the nether now, the schematic, and it is reaching all the way up to build limit, so we can set our AFK spot as high as possible. Now, I did debate with the idea of having an AFK spot at the top of the farm, but then that pushes it down a little bit too far, and there's a little bit too much space down the bottom where we need to go and slab and make and prevent spawns. So I've pushed it up in the air, and then if we need to AFK without a sword, which I don't see any reason to, then our AFK spot is still in the same place. It's just we switch the farm into that automatic mode. But again, if I'm here, then I might as well just be using the looping sword because it will get me more drops. Now, if I press this button here, this toggles my mini HUD, and I have created a shape render which will show the despawn sphere of when you stand at this block here. So anything outside of that, mobs will instantly despawn, and thus anything outside does not affect the rate of the farm. Anything down here inside of the sphere, however, does affect the rate of the farm. So anything that is inside of this is spawnable space which will take up room from the farm up above, which means as a long-term project we need to come through, we need to slab this all over, make sure that none of it is spawnable. Now what that means is that this bastion remnant is actually inside of our spawning space, which means we need to go through, we need to conquer it, we need to kill everything inside of it, so that then we can easily spawn proof it, and so we can easily spawn proof it like the rest of the area. So here we've also got a large gap underneath to do whatever redstone we need to do with our bartering setup and auto crafting, so there's a lot of room, and then items will come down and they will come through the nether portal here. So this here, if I go through this portal, then you will see that it will connect exactly up on the other side with this water channel, which joins in with this bit here. On this bits here of the portal, we're going to put our redstone lines, which tell us when we need to turn on and off certain bits. So to make this whole process of going to and from the nether easier, I'm going to use a command, that command being /game rule player's nether portal default delay. We're going to change that to 1. So what that does is now it'll take us, and we can pretty much instantly travel through nether portals. Okay, that will just make going through them a lot easier, and I don't really see the point in waiting around. The only reason that you'd want to wait around is if you were travelling through nether portals from this side to the other side without wanting to go through. But because I'm going to be using this just going to and from the nether, like that, nice and easy, I've just turned that down. That is the same delay that it has in creative, so all I've done is I've changed that for our survival world. So let's instantly go back to the nether, and let's get this farm built. A little birdie told me that you're not subscribed. Well, now's the time to change that. Go down below, subscribe, like and comment before we carry on with the video. So we have built it in. It is very loud, but as you can see, it's not working to its fullest. We should just be seeing everything raining down constantly, but we have hit the mob cap below, so that means that we need to go and filter out. No, not filter out, that's the wrong word. We need to then go and stop the spawning spaces down below, which will take us quite a while. Is if we go and have a look, I've already made a start. I've used up 8 shulker boxes of cobblestone slabs. So if we have a look at our stats, times used, I've placed 14,000 slabs, and I've barely made a dent. Like, look at this, so much space still needed over here. All of this needs to be slabbed. A lot of small little spaces as well. I've done some a fairly decent job, but just so much still needs to be done. Like, I've even missed bits here and here and here, all over. Missed loads of bits. It's going to take a long time to do that, so I'm not going to bother with that at the moment. Again, I've already wasted enough time on it. Well, not wasted, because it's all useful, but we're going to start by getting in the next stages of our system, so the gold crafter, and then so what we need up there is that we need quite a few item filters to pick up gold nuggets. We need 1 for gold ingots, and then 1 for zombified piglin heads, because I have the data pack which allows you to get mob heads from when you kill them, and then everything else is just going to go straight into a fire. So that's the rotten flesh and the tools and armor, and then that is then going to spat out into another ice line with a piston pusher, which will either go. I've not figured out exactly how we're going to do this yet. I'm thinking we might need another one of these machines here just to push the gold down into one block, so that it can then be piston pushed to where it needs to go, whether that's the bartering setup or whether that is just straight through the portal. So we're going to build another one of these ones here. So all that is a little bit of a clock system in here, a decay clock which will then turn back on and stuff, as well as pushing when it needs to be put. I've missed a bit of redstone there, haven't I? Yeah, this bit is never fired once, so I need to put that redstone in, and then we need to build another one of these underneath our crafting system, and then it'll all funnel into one block, and then it will then either fall down to the bartering or go straight through. That's what we're dealing with. Yeah. Okay, I admit this might be slight over-engineering. I don't think we get enough gold to go over hopper speed, so I could have just put hoppers underneath, but this is much more fun, I think. Yeah, potentially might just move it over to hoppers just to keep things simple, because there's no way that we're beating hopper speed with this. So right, okay, let's plan. So the items currently are falling down here. We need both the gold and the items from the bartering farm to end up at the same location at the end so we can push it through. So what I'm thinking is that we have 2 steps for this ice line. So we have this bottom one here with a pusher on this height, and then we go up 1 block and we have a pusher on that height, so it kind of comes across, it lands on this block and gets pushed again. I think that's probably what we're going to go for, rather than getting everything onto one thing, because then the output from the bartering needs to go back onto where the gold lands and then it will get shot. So I'm thinking the 2 different ones maybe, and then the gold can then go straight through, and yeah. I think we're going to tear this out and go to hopper speed maybe. I think we're alright with hopper speed. Swap these all out for barrels. Hoppers underneath, coming into a dropper here, which drops the item down, lands on something here, and then gets spat out in front. How far can these items from one slime block launch can go quite far. So I think we're just going to start off by putting in one of these and not worrying about the bartering setup, because this will be easy enough to change down the bottom. Yeah, good plan. Rip out this slime block launcher down the bottom, and then our gold's going straight the way through. So I've had to move the thing 1 block up so that at least from this distance here, the items had enough momentum to go through the portal, and then they'd shoot out the other side, and then they'd land in the water stream. So now we've got the gold side of things hooked up over to the overworld. We can watch that in action now. It lands, it shoots, it just about makes it through, and then it ends up on the other side in the water stream. So I did go over to that hopper line, and it's working perfectly fine. So I'm happy with that. Happy with that decision. Nice and easy. Okay, things are running smooth. So the next job that we have to do is we have to take an input from the store. Let's go into the overworld to figure this one out, because this one's going to be a little bit trickier to think about without a visual. Gold is stored in this module here, this third one along, which means when this bit here fills up, it means we are no longer crafting stuff out of gold, or we're making more gold than we're using up. So that means that we then want to turn on the bartering farm. So we then take this signal all the way over to our nether portal, we send it through, and then that is going to switch the output from sending gold through to sending gold to the bartering farm, and then sending the bartering farm stuff through. Because we don't have too much stuff that requires gold to craft, So it should fill up fairly easily. I think it's just the gold pressure plates and the powered rails. So once those are all full, then the gold will back up. And then once we make the system smarter as well, because we've still got to make it much smarter.
Well, as you may or may not be able to see by my levels, I've been AFKing at the gold farm because I did exactly what I said that I wasn't going to do, and I slabbed up the entire area. All of it, the whole area, slabbed. All of the slabs. But all of this is slabbed, which means the only place that they can spawn when I'm stood up at the AFK platform is inside of the farm. How many slabs did that take? That took 23,000 slabs. Yeah, a lot of work, but it's worth it. We are pumping out from us killing them with our looting 3 sword. We're pumping out about 420 gold ingots every 5 minutes, so that means that's about 80 per minute. Which means for our bartering setup, we're going to need 8 to 10 piglins to make sure that we pick up every single gold ingot that comes in. And so what I've done is that I have created our toggle system. The redstone was playing up here because redstone is actually really, really poorly designed, because originally I had the redstone dust there, but in weird triggering orders, so I've just added a torch tower delay, so now it's actually working. So currently it is off, which means we do not have a full amount of gold in here, which means the bartering setup will be off. And then of course when our storage system fills up with gold, this will then turn on, which will eventually turn the bartering setup we're about to build on. So let's get that bartering setup built, shall we? So the bartering system is in. I will talk to you about these things right after I explain why I have so few levels. Now, I died twice. How did I die, did you ask? Did I end up in a really big fight with a load of piglins and piglin brutes and zombified piglins? No, I hit the ground too hard. So I flew into here, crash landed here, died. Second time, came back to get my items, flew in, crash landed, died. And I actually lost my sword and my helmet to the cactus that was placed here. So that's now gone, and that didn't take too long. It's pretty easy. We've got all of the infrastructure set up, so it's just a really quick process of re-gearing up. So let's go through the bartering setup then. So where have we, what did we last do? So we last had this, but it wasn't hooked up to anything. So if we have this here, if this light is on, it means that we've got all of the gold filled up in the storage system, which means this line here will turn on and it will lock this hopper here. At the moment, the priority for any gold coming through the farm is to go out into this dropper here and get sent into the storage system. But once that will lock, then it will send it into the bartering setup, which at the moment I've just put in a few gold ingots just to 10. So we've currently got 6 piglins here, which I found worked quite well for the rates of the farm and how much gold we were spitting out, as well as how much the storage could handle. So I think we're all good on there, but we have to do some more testing. So there's 3 piglins in each of these ones here, and then a gold is spat out onto this soul sand here, which is slightly lower than a full block, so the piglins can actually pick it up. They are contained in their chamber, so that any items they throw out will end up in these hoppers, into the droppers, and then into the cobweb here to align things up. It falls down, and then we use our honey block to align up with the edge of the block and the ice, and then the slime block pushes it across over this blue ice. So I originally had packed ice, but it needed blue ice to be able to go further. Originally it was making it to this block here, and we needed to get a little bit further, so that blue ice was needed. So now they're sliding along. Currently I've got 2 filters for each of the items that you can get that are stackable. So we've got iron nuggets in these first 2, ender pearls, and so on down the line. We're collecting up everything, and then right at the end over here we have our unstackables, which is in here. Our unstackables end up here, and we're getting that soul speed enchantment, so we can pop that on our boots when we need it. Everything else is being collected up, so we're getting gravel. But again, this is a temporary storage system. I just want to see the rates. Do we need to have 2 collectors for each item? Can we just get away with 1? And then that will then go into a shulker loader, or in the case of the items that are needed in crafting, they'll get sent through the portal, not being stored in here. Okay? But that is a job for next time. Max gets caught in a cheating scandal. Right, so if we just come and look at our statistics. Okay, where is it? Scrolling all the way down, going through. Dragon egg used twice. What? Oh, look, okay. Okay, chat. I can explain. Your Honour, in my defence, they were being really annoying, and I value my time. Max has a little sing-song. It's raining piglins, hallelujah, it's raining piglins, amen. And tells a classic joke. Barter? Hardly know her. Thank you for watching. It's been excellent to get back to the industrial district. I love a good gold farm. I love a good bartering setup, and we have done both today. So next time we have making the factory smart and the storage system for our bartering setup to look forward to get even more of those components auto-crafted. So I hope you are looking forward to that and you will join me. If you've made it this far, please consider subscribing. And if you've enjoyed the video, leave a comment, leave a like. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.